Hey everyone, how's it going? Thanks so much for tuning in. In today's video, we're continuing with the 180SX Type X conversion on my 89 RB25 powered 240SX. If you haven't checked out the last episode, I put a link in the description below. I got the entire Type X front clip put together and it was a lot of fun and it just looks awesome. If you're unsure of what the Type X kit entails, I talked about all of that in great depth during that video, and if you're interested in doing something similar to your car, I also showed all of the bits and pieces that you would need to properly fit the front end like factory, so definitely check that out. But today, we're gonna switch gears and focus on the back of the car. I'm gonna work on installing the entire Type X taillight assembly. Like I talked about in the last video, I've been collecting the various parts of the Type X kit for the last three and a half years. With the vision I had for this car, I wanted to try to get as many Nissan original parts as possible, and it took a long time to do it, but I was able to find everything I needed, from stuff that was surprisingly still in stock at Nissan, like this taillight kit. Got a bunch of new old stock stuff from different vendors in the States and in Japan, and I've got some pre-owned stuff, but all put together, it's gonna look absolutely phenomenal and completely transform how this car looks. I mean, those of you who saw the front end conversion know exactly what I'm talking about, so it's been a long time coming and I'm very excited to finally see it come together. The Type X taillight kit consists of four main pieces. You have the specific taillights, the center garnish with the reverse lights, and this filler panel that sits underneath it all. Now, I talked about this some in the last video as well. None of the Type X lighting elements, whether it be the front or the rear, will direct plug and play into the USDM 240SX wiring harness. Now, to get everything to work, you're going to either have to rewire everything or find a set of conversion harnesses if you don't want to make them yourself. I found these from someone on eBay like a few years or so ago, and like I showed in the last video, it makes installation so easy. It's definitely worth getting a set of these if you can find them. Now, this kit also came with a lock cylinder and two keys, so I'm not sure if the original one that's on the car now will swap over. We'll find that out. There's a bag of hardware to attach this piece, and butyl seals for the taillights to seal them up, against water leaks. But if you want to do the Type X taillight conversion, this is everything you need right here. Now, before I start taking out the original taillights, let me flip them on real quick so you guys can see how they operate and compare them to the new ones later. In case anybody was wondering, I do have LED lights back here that I will be swapping over to the new setup. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. The first piece that needs to come out is this plastic section right here. There are actually some convenient access points in the trunk panel to change bulbs and whatnot, but we actually need to take out all of this stuff to access the hardware of the taillights and the filler panels. So this piece is typically held in by two clips on the sides and a row of Phillips head screws. I've already taken out some of it, including one of the trunk panels when I was doing the rear battery setup, so I'll go ahead and take out the rest of the screws and get this out. With this center piece out of the way, there's 5 push clips that you need to pop out. There's 2 on either side and 1 in the center. Then it just lifts out. I went ahead and moved my battery just to give me a little bit of extra room in this corner, but I will say there are some of these little plastic wire holders that you have to take off first before you can get access to some of the nuts holding the taillights on, but at this point, we're ready to start unplugging everything and unbolting. Now here comes the fun part. When I bought this car, the taillights were leaking really bad. The seals were gone. I mean, filling up the spare tire well bad. So I bought some butyl rope like this that came in the Type X kit, which is what you would use to seal off the taillights. But fresh butyl rope is very sticky and it makes a mess. So getting these taillights back off is gonna be an adventure, to say the least. Yeah, this stuff's pretty gnarly. It's very, very hard to come back off once it's on, but it seals up really nice. Alright, everything is cleaned up and that sticky garbage is out of the way. The car is not ready for body and paint yet, so everything that I'm doing is gonna have to come back off again later. That being said, I will not be reapplying the butyl rope because I don't keep this car outside. I'm not worried about it leaking water or anything like that. Kind of like what I did with the front end. I'm tired of seeing all of these parts sit on my shelf, and I've been looking forward to this for a really, really long time, so I just want to see it all go on the car. It's been very, very fun. I've had a lot of people ask me also what car or what color I'm going to end up painting it. I'm going to stick with the factory original color, which is called Midnight Blue Pearl. It's a very, very pretty color, and I have blue interior, so it'd be kind of crazy to change it to something else because there's not a lot of exterior colors that are going to look good with a blue interior, so that'll kind of keep it the whole, OEM plus vibe that I'm going for. Now let's start switching over the LEDs. Well, that's not gonna work. I didn't realize the bulbs would be different. So this is the 240 one, this is the Type X one, and you can see the two different bulbs right there, or the LED right there, and then the traditional one that came in the Type X. So I guess I'm gonna run down to O'Reilly real quick and see if I can get an LED bulb in this style. One thing important to know about doing an LED bulb upgrade is that a lot of times LEDs are polarity dependent. So if you put the bulb in and it does not turn on, all you would have to do is take the bulb out, flip it around, and put it back in, and it should work. A regular incandescent bulb, it doesn't matter which way, it'll come on regardless, so just something to be aware of. Now for the conversion harnesses. FYI, there's two different variants of these Sylvania LED bulbs. You've got the regular and you've got the super bright. The super bright's a little bit more money. The regular ones are honestly perfectly fine. These are just a little bit more of a, obviously bright, a vivid light. Very nice. This is what I had in the car beforehand. I had gotten these just to save a little bit of money, but having to switch to this different style bulb for these lights, all they had was the super bright, so I just got those, but it'll work out fine. So it turns out you do need to use the Type X specific lock cylinder because the cylinder is actually deeper than the one that originally came on the car because the Type X kit or the center garnish sits out a little bit. So this will allow you to have the proper depth to insert the key. There's also a little white clip right there that was not present on the original one. There's plenty of screws in this thing, so I'm just going to take it out instead of trying to drill a hole and line it up. Well, that's pretty much it right there. That filler panel beneath the taillights will be painted to match the body. Now let's flip all the lights back on and make sure everything works. This is going to be such a good looking car. I can't wait to get the rest of the ground effects on. Well everyone, that's going to wrap it up for this video. I hope you enjoyed. Please don't forget to leave a like below. It really helps the videos a lot. And if you haven't subscribed already, consider doing so because there's always a lot more content where that came from. I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.